Hello Gen Z. How are you all? Enjoying my Ramayana stories? I hope you all do. So without any further ado, let's start the flow of our Ram Gatha after Hanumanji befriends our Sri Ram. So now Hanumanji with Ram and Lakshman reached Rishmukh forest and all the monkeys came to see them. Hanumanji introduced Ram and Lakshmanji to the entire army of monkeys. Sugriv embraced them and welcomed them to the forest. Hanuman began narrating Ram's problem and spoke how Kabandh had advised them to seek Sugriv's help. Hearing of Ram's plight, Sugriv showed him some handful of jewels. Recognizing these as Sita's, Ram asked Sugriv where he found these. Sugriv replied that one day he heard a lady screaming Ram's name while being carried away on a flying chariot. On her way, she had scattered these jewels. Unable to see Ram's grief, Sugriv, Hanuman, and all the monkeys promised their support in bringing back Sita from Lanka. When Ram told Sugriv about Sita's kidnapping, he promised his support to Ram. Now Sugriv then narrated the story of his exile. He told him how he had been ousted by his brother Bali and forced to live in forest. Ram said it was his duty to help his friend. But Sugriv said nobody could help him in his fight against Bali because of a boon that he had been granted to him. All Bali's enemy lost his strength before him. Sugriv then gave Ram a picture of Bali's might. When Dundubi, a demon, arrived to fight with Bali, he was in his palace in Kishkinda. Dundubi thought he would crush the monkey king easily, but was proved wrong. Bali accepted the challenge and, in the battlefield, lifted the enormous Dundubi, then grabbing him by his horns and swirled him round until he lost his consciousness. After this, he swung his huge body with such strength that he felt miles away in the forest of Rishmukh. So, after Sugriv recited the Dundubi story, he showed Ram the demon carcass which lay nearby. He told Ram the truth about making Rishmukh his hiding spot. He informed Ram the famous sage Matang Muni lived in Rishmukh mountain. When Bali had swung the battered body of Dundubi from Kishkinda, it fell inside the ashram. The sage had become enraged, and because he had built the ashram after years of worship and used to organize his yagna here. Matang Muni wrote, "Who dares to sully my ashram with blood smeared corpse?" When no answer came, he sat down in deep meditation and discovered the name Bali. In a fury, the sage cursed Bali and his men by saying that if ever they entered the forest of Rishmukh, they would be destroyed. Sugriv thus added that because Bali would hunt him down wherever he went, he took shelter in these forests, knowing that he could not enter it. So now, before going to the battlefield, Ram and Sugriv chalked out a plan. So it was decided that Ram would shoot Bali while Sugriv was engaged in a fight with him. As Sugriv approached the Bali for a fight, Ram hid behind a tree. However, just as the tussle began, Ram aimed his arrow. He saw two identical monkeys. Unable to differentiate between Bali and Sugriv, Ram held back his shot. Unfortunately, Sugriv, who was no match for Bali's strength, was badly beaten by him. He somehow managed to escape his brother's clutches and enter Rishmukh, where Bali could not enter. Sugriv was very much upset with Ram, as he thought Ram had not kept his word. Sri Ram, begging for his forgiveness, explained his plight, and then they thought of another plan. So Ram and Sugriv worked on a second plan to kill Bali. They decided that this time Sugriv would wear a garland to help Ram to recognize Bali. Sugriv then invited Bali for the second time. As the fight began, Ram shot his arrow at Bali's chest, but he did not die. This is because of a boon given by god Indra, according to which any attack from the front would lose its force before Bali. Now Ram then shoot at his back, and the mighty Bali came crashing down to the ground. Writhing in pain, he realized the trap Sugriv had laid for him, and in his final moments asked Ram as to why he had agreed to help Sugriv. Ram replied that he had become too powerful and arrogant. Beside, by making Tara his queen, he had committed a sin. After Ram explained, Bali was folded hand, begged for the forgiveness, and said he was blessed to have been killed by a noble Ram. So we will be continuing this flow of Ram Gatha after the death of Bali. So don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, as well as subscribe my channel, like my videos. See you next Monday. Till then, bye bye.